hello. For quite a few lectures, we are discussing regarding extended surfaces. Extended surfaces are very important, that is why we are spending some time on it. We need to know what are the different options available. We need to know using extended surfaces what different designs, various designs of heat exchanger we can have. How to estimate the rate of heat transfer from extended surfaces, etc. So, in continuation with my previous lectures, the present lecture we like to see again some extended surface heat exchangers. If you recall, we were doing some numerical examples to know how to calculate the heat transfer from extended surface without bringing in heat exchanger. Now, we slowly go into heat exchangers and how extended surfaces are utilized in heat exchangers, how calculation can be done for extended surface heat exchangers. So, this is what we want to do with the help of again number of examples. This is kind of a write up I have given, almost a very brief, but very important, that heat exchanger with extended surfaces or fins. There could be two different type of design. One is fin plate heat exchanger. Now, fin plate heat exchanger might have number of variations. Those variations I am not discussing over here, because that will be taken care of separately. So, there is no point, I mean one should not think that there are no variations of this thing. Okay. So, here I want to write that variations that will be discussed later. One should not think that plate fin heat exchanger does not have any variation. So, what I have written variations will be discussed later, but fin tube heat exchanger again there are many variations, and what we can do, we can classify them between two very important categories, that tubes will have separate fins, individual fins or separate fins, and tubes will have integral fin plate. So, this we will see how they are designed. Then fin tube heat exchanger is what we will concentrate. Later on separately plate fin heat exchanger, which are again one very important family of heat exchanger, we will take care of it. There are primarily these are primarily gas liquid heat exchangers, this fin tube heat exchanger. Fluid either single phase or phase change passes through the tube sides and the gas passes over the fin surface. So, basically we will have tube, and on the tube we will have fin, and inside the tube there will be passage of either liquid or gas liquid or liquid vapor mixture, and on the outer side of the tube, which is fin, there will be passage of gas. Each tube may have a number of separate fins, or a number of tubes may penetrate the integral fin plates. This I am telling time and again, so that you have some idea, and we will have also a number of figures. From there we will understand what I am telling. Integral fin plates are parallel to each other and they produce fin passages for the transport of gas. What I am telling, that on the fin side there are passage of gas. So, this integral fin plate, they will provide the passage through which gas will pass. If you recall, when we have started augmentation of heat transfer, I have told that basically the engineer has to analyze what is the overall heat transfer. If we see normal cases, there are 5 resistances. let us say there are two fluid and we call them fluid 1 and fluid 2. So, convective heat transfer of fluid 1, fouling of fluid 1, then the metallic surface, then the fouling of fluid 2 and convective heat transfer of fluid 2. So, these are the 5 resistances. One has to see which resistance is more, and if there is a gas liquid heat transfer equipment heat exchanger, then one will find that gas side resistance is much more. So, gas side resistance first we have to reduce. So, that is why fins are provided on the gas side. This I have repeated number of times. So, here again I am telling the same thing, that the on the fin side of the tube there will be passage of gas. Inside the tube there may be fins, rarely, but these are small fins. Sometimes there are fins. Okay. So, here we are having some fin tube heat exchanger to have some idea. You see on the tube there are fins. So, let us see these three figures. There are tubes and on the tube there is fin. So, here you can see the tube and fin, they are integral. If you see this cross section, that from the same material tube and fin they have been made. Now, this design is all right, but here you see while making this kind of a component, there will be lot of material taken out or cut out or wasted, quote unquote wasted, because we have to make these slots between the fins. On the other hand, what you can have, the tube is made of a material and a separate kind of a fin or fin surface you can attach on it. So, that you can find in these two designs. So, both the designs are common, but the design which is shown in the top, it has got the advantage that it is having very less amount of material wastage. Okay. Whereas, the design at the bottom, it is integrally made fins and tubes, the integration between the fin base and the primary surface of heat transfer, that is very good. Now, these are small pieces of tubes. In a heat exchanger, how it will be put, one can see. So, these kind of heat exchangers are very common in refrigeration, air conditioning and cooling requirement, cooling application. So, one can see that a tube serpentine way it is it is starting from here and it is ending probably at the top. Fluid can enter from here and fluid can go out through this, while having a very long journey through the tube. While it is having a long journey through the tube, so it will exchange heat with the gaseous fluid which is outside the tube, and to enhance the heat transfer with the gaseous fluid outside the tube, we will have fin. So, you can see the fin, and these are kind of integral fin. So, one fin that is pierced by number of one fin or one fin plate, that is pierced by a number of tubes. So, this is what I have mentioned. So, in this case we are seeing individual fins, in this case we are having a one fin with number of tubes piercing it, that is a fin plate. With this, let us go to the next diagram. So, here again we can see different kind of geometry. Here again we will not use a single tube, there will be number of tubes. So, each tubes can have a number of fins. These fins could be individual fins without getting any connection with another fin. So, this is one kind of a design commonly used, and actually what we want to do, by providing fin we have increased the rate of heat transfer. So, in that way we have increased the compactness, but we are not satisfied with that, we want to go for more compact design. So, then what we have done, in between the fins there is some sort of a gap, we want to abolish this gap. Now, we are having integral fin plate which are pierced by number of tubes, and two fin plates are parallel to each other. So, in between gas passes, so that becomes the gas passage. Okay. So, this is kind of a design we try to evolve from this first design, design A to design B. Again we are going for design C. In the design C, what we can find? That these tubes has been made flat. There are several reasons why we like to make this tube flat. One reason could be that you see a circular body is a bluff body, and when we are making it flat, so we are reducing the form drag when a gas will pass through. So, this is one variation we can find here. Another variation, you see there are fin plates, but on the fin plates there are some sort of a surface modification which has been done. Surface modification in the sense maybe there are some holes or serrations or louvers. So, this will give some sort of a agitation or good mixing of the gas stream which is passing over these fins. So many things we have done. First thing, you see how this concept of compactness has increased. How first thing, there were bare tubes. On the bare tubes we have provided number of fins. Then interfin gap where there was no material. So, that gap we have abolished by providing integrated fin plate. Then we have made these tubes flattened, and then what we have done on this fin plate, we have provided louvers or some sort of perforations or some sort of a surface feature which is good for mixing. So, by all these things you can understand that we can reduce the size of the heat exchanger, and we can within a small volume we can have large amount of heat transfer. That is the whole purpose, and that is what I like to impress upon you. Let us move to the so here I can tell you that by this time probably we are convinced that though in heat transfer books, and I have also done the same way, that we have analyzed a single fin, that we never use a single fin. In a heat exchanger we use a large number of fin. We use a finned surface. So, if you recall that is why we have calculated the surface efficiency where there are number of fins. 1 or 2 lectures before we have done this. In this case I am showing that there are number of fins. So, there will be some sort of a temperature at the fin base, and these are different resistances. One resistance will be provided by the fin and another resistance will be provided by the surface area in between the fin, that unfinned surface, primary surface. So, we can make some sort of a thermal circuit like this. Okay. These are parallel path. Heat can flow through this. It can flow through this means it can flow through the surface of the fins. So, some sort of a, for understanding, one can have a thermal circuit as it has been shown over here. But another thing also I have told you that this is integral fin from the same material fin and the base surface has been made. That means I have to take away this much of costly material, and sometimes we cannot permit this. So, we have to separately attach the fin. If I separately attach the fin, obviously there will be some sort of a resistance, thermal resistance, because I am attaching one material with another material. So, here you can see that this contact resistance, it could be called contact resistance of the fin is coming. So, ultimately again we can get a thermal circuit like this. So, all these things are important when we are doing the design of a finned heat exchanger. Let us go to the next. So, here I have shown different kind of arrangement. These are all tubes and only one side of the tube has been shown. The first one is the fins are made from the same material itself. In the second one, this is the tube surface. On the top of that, I have used some sort of a strip which is having fins. So, it is wound around the tube. So, this is one kind of a design. Okay. So, generally for fins, to make the fins thinner and to make the fins very effective in heat transfer, what we have to do? We have to use high heat transfer material, high thermal conductivity material with high thermal conductivity, and cost of those kind of material will be large. So, what we have to do is like this, that if that tube material is something else and on the top of that we provide fin material, but or some sort of a feature, some sort of a arrangement where fins are there made of highly conducting material. So, then probably our cost will be less. So, here again this is the tube material and on the top of that there is a sleeve which is having fins. Here again another kind of a design, so that the fins are tightly attached to the tube material which is shown here. So, many different kind of designs are available and these are done, that finning machines are available. With the help of machines, one can provide the fins over on the circular cylinder. Okay. Now, if we go to one problem where so far we have dealt with a single fin, now we like to deal with a multiple fin or surface with multiple fin. This is a problem which is taken from the book of David and N. Kropera, and the problem reads: the engine cylinder of a motorcycle is constructed of this aluminum alloy and is of height 0.15 meter and outside diameter is 50 millimeter. Under typical operating condition, the outer surface is at a temperature of 500 K and is exposed to ambient air at 300 K with a convection coefficient of 50 watt per meter square Kelvin. Annular fins are integrally cast with the cylinder to increase the heat transfer to the surroundings. Consider 5 such fins which are of thickness T is equal to, T is the fin thickness. Sometimes delta is being used, you can see, for indicating the fin thickness. Sometimes small t is used for indicating the fin thickness, 6 millimeter. Length L is equal to 20 millimeter and equally spaced. What is the increase in heat transfer due to the use of fins? So, what are known? Operating condition of a finned motorcycle cylinder and increase in heat transfer associated with using the fins, that is what we have to determine. We have to find out the increase in heat transfer by the use of fins. If we you see this is the figure. So, this we can as well think of it is a heat exchanger. Basically, it is a heat exchanger. So, there will be some fluid inside this cylinder and that fluid will have higher temperature. So, that temperature due to this higher temperature, the cylinder body will be heated and outside there will be another fluid. So, that will take away this heat, so that the temperature rise or the whatever heat is generated, that heat is dissipated to the outside fluid, which is the ambient air. So, basically then it is nothing but a gas to gas heat exchanger. We can think of, idealize it as a gas to gas heat exchanger. I have told that primarily when there is a finned heat exchanger, inside there is a liquid and outside there is a gas. So, here we can see outside there is a gas, but inside also there is a gas, that is the combustion product of the IC engine. So, different dimensions have been given. The dimensions the total height has been given, diameter has been given, length of the fin has been given, and the fin thickness has been given. Then the fin spacing also we can get from this. So, these are the given data of the problem. What assumptions we can make? Steady state condition. This, let me tell you, all the heat exchanger analysis which we are going to do in this course are steady state. Transient phenomena in a heat exchanger is also very important. There are different type of analysis with time, how the temperature changes. So, those kind of analysis are done, and those analysis are important because sometimes those transient can give rise to thermal stresses which are not allowable, high thermal stress, or one need to check the thermal stress. But here we will present steady state analysis, and the present problem is not an exception. One dimensional radial conduction in fins. So, heat will be conducted in this direction, and then it will be convected from the surface of the fins. Okay. Constant properties are constant. Negligible radiation exchange with surroundings there will be negligible radiation exchange. That means, entire heat transfer is due to convection, not due to radiation. Uniform convection coefficient over the outer surface with or without fins. This is an idealization. Number of times what I am telling that whenever we provide fins, we provide the we make a change in the surface conditions, and the convective heat transfer coefficient will be different. But for many of the examples and some of the practical cases, we do not differentiate between the heat transfer coefficient change with fin or without fin. So, this is one idealization we make, and by some sort of design factor we take care of it. Then this curve is similar because familiar, because this type of curve I have shown earlier. So, here there is a way by which you can determine the efficiency of the radial fin or circular fin, because otherwise we need to calculate Bessel function, which is not very convenient to do. Here you see length of the fin has been written as LC, and some correction can be done, that if we neglect the heat transfer from the tip, we are taking insulated tip, that is not correct. So, that is why fin length can be corrected as has been mentioned here. This I have told earlier also. So, now it is simple calculation, even without my intervention you can understand what are the calculations, that with the fins in place the heat transfer rate is given by so, this is the heat transfer rate that is given by your fins, and where the AT is the total area, and then there are certain calculations which has been done here. We have to calculate the fin efficiency. So, the fin efficiency calculation has also been explained, and fin efficiency, for the fin efficiency calculation you have to calculate the LC or the corrected length, that has also been explained over here, LC. And then the fin efficiency you are getting 95% fin efficiency. So, you see we have taken the examples, and many examples we have calculated the fin efficiency, and we are really getting, never we have gone below 50%. So, we are really designing fin which are having high efficiency. In fact, of course, the fin efficiency, what fin efficiency will take or design will depend on the application, but rarely we go below 75%, rarely we go. We generally go for higher fin efficiencies. With the fins, the total heat transfer rate is given by this is q t. All this formula you can see, and with this we can determine the total heat transfer coefficient, and the total heat transfer coefficient is actually in this case 690 watt. 690 watt will be the total heat transfer from the cylinder of the internal combustion engine. Now, this heat transfer comes from again I like to draw your attention that fins are, let me go back little bit. So, here what I wanted to tell you that heat transfer will be there from the surface which is not finned or unfinned surface. Heat transfer will be there from the two surfaces of the fins, and then taking all the surfaces of the fins and all the interfin surfaces which are unfinned. So, the total heat transfer has been calculated. This is very important to understand. And by this calculation we have got, how much we have got? We have got 690 watt. And then if there are no fins, then only there is bare cylindrical surface, and we can calculate assuming that the heat transfer coefficient has remained same. So, assuming that we can calculate and we get some heat transfer value as 236 watt. So, by providing fins, how much gain I have got? Q t minus Q W O, Q total minus Q without fins, that is 454 watt. So, that is what we get, and then obviously, by providing fins, this is the advantage we are getting. So, basically then by this time we should be convinced that particularly on gas side providing fins we get some advantage in heat transfer. The total heat transfer that can be increased, heat exchanger can be made compact. But one thing we have to keep it in mind, probably in later lecture I will touch upon that when we do this in many of the cases there is extra amount of pressure drop. So, our design will be justified if our extra pressure drop is within limit. We are getting enhancement in heat transfer, but our extra pressure drop that is within limit. So, this is what we will try to address in our next lecture or some lecture afterwards. So, thank you, and if you have got any queries etc., in the forum you can place it. So, we will try to address those queries. Thank you once again.